Hello and welcome to our EV meeting. Here you can see who is presenting tonight. It's a fairly long presentation or meetings, about 2 hours. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing or listen to it, just pick out what you want to look and listen to. We are fortunate to have the new Tesla S P85D. So it's dual drive. It has a motor in the front and in the back. And one of our members just recently got this car. It's a beautiful car. He was able to bring it over and show it to the membership. These video clips are before people showed up, so normally we had many more people coming and looking at the car. The owner of the vehicle wrote up some specs. If it's going too fast, the video, just press the pause button or otherwise glance over it. We have here a group of S drivers, Tesla S drivers, who are thinking of getting the new model, and they're trying out and seeing what's different on this car compared to their car.
Schedule, and lucky us. First of all, I want to say that we are really grateful to Nissan for having stepped up to give us this meeting place. It looks like it's going to work well for us because we've got the parking lot right out in front, where when it gets warmer, everybody can be showing their cars and showing a lot of that. We got here, and then we can even maybe do some special things in the back if necessary, you know, whatever.
You just volunteered me for next month? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Did I not mention that? But it's actually, I mean, we're going to end up really maybe looking for somewhere bigger. This is great. But
thank you very much, Owen.
Thank you. And doing providing the facilities is just one thing that they do among many things to support SacEV. So anytime you go see a Leaf driving by or parked, give it a little hug, okay? All right, so by tradition, we always start off with a trivia contest. In this case, if you've been here twice, you're not eligible for the contest.
Oh, man.
And we got an honor system because all the gray-haired folks tend to win all the prizes.
How literal are you with the been here twice?
In our virtual meeting place, wherever here is at the month that we held it. So now, I don't think there's anything wrong with cheering them out and giving them hints as to the answer to the others. All right, so anyway, how large is Tesla's advertising budget? By the way, members of the SacEV organization or its parent organization, Electric Auto Association, are not eligible. Ron?
Is this a matter of calling out the answer, or do we raise our hand?
Raise your hand.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to a brand newbie here. Zero. All right. And
So far.
we've got SMUD is giving us some awards, so in the back after this we'll hand those out. But I think we're crowded, we want to keep going. So what animal is portrayed in the Soul EV ads?
The hamsters, though.
Hamsters.
Yeah.
Are these too easy? You guys are nailing them right there. All right, well, let's keep going. Here's a little tougher. Lisa, you can be the one to determine if this is correct or not. The answer is correct or not. So how many EVs does Governor Brown want on the road by 2025?
40%.
1.5 million.
Number
1.5.
Ding, 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 ding.
well,
Hey, he works there.
I worked there.
oh, all right. Anybody else? Any newbies want to guess 1.5 million?
I do.
Okay. And what Automatic recently announced to have a plan, they've got an all-battery car, EV, to compete with Tesla's Model 3 when it comes out.
You don't get it either.
Pardon me? GM. Do you remember for bonus points what they call it? The Bolt. Yep. The Bolt. Well, my hearing that was either one would have worked. All right. Okay. Here's the tough one.
But, I guess there was two answers.
And according to Mr. Goen, who is not the tightest-lipped person in the world, he says we'll beat it. So.
Ah, let's see. No, you heard it first here.
No, you heard it first in the Detroit Auto Show yesterday. I'm just repeating what.
Oh, we have to get that out to everybody.
So it'll be before 2017.
Roman calendar or.
What do you mean by B?
And what does B mean?
200-mile range?
You can look up Mr. Goins' quotes in the Detroit Auto Show.
What do the quotes say?
Mr. Goins.
And will the
Do you have
battery,
it in the back room?
No.
will the battery?
Would you tell us if you did?
Oh, you just, you did.
What is the new model design?
A GTR?
Okay, let's let him off the hook. All right, annual average fuel revenue for a gas station in 2013, which is the last year I had good numbers for.
Revenue.
Ah, now I got you.
Revenue,
Profit
okay,
or
revenue, not cost.
That's revenue,
Gross revenue?
gross revenue.
I'll guess 5 million.
5 million, not bad, not it, but any other guesses?
6.
6 and what?
3, 2.
6.2, that sounds good. 6 1/4. That's and the average gas station. Not all the gas stations in a city, but each gas station in a city.
Yeah, but if you talk to the gas station owners, they didn't make any money.
No, I didn't talk net profit. So this is an important because this is the amount of money that's going out of the community every year from each station, like a big sucking sound.
Yeah.
And switching to electric, that's local dollars, right?
Regulate the gas stations. So.
Where is our utility? One of our Roseville utilities. These are local dollars if you go electric, right?
If they go electric and they buy in Roseville.
All right. Okay, well, thank you. And winners, let me know afterwards, and we'll have some prizes outside. Ron,
Can I add another bonus question?
please.
Who's the major automaker who had just announced getting back into electric vehicles and hybrid plugins?
Oh, I just saw that.
Well, news today.
It was in the news today, but
There's
that.
a big hint. Starts with a letter.
I thought they wanted fuel cells.
Honda, but it was like 2018 or.
Yeah, it's out there.
I mean, come on. It's like they're starting at right at the beginning again. All right.
Because they saw everybody else making money.
So here we go. This is just our local. Lisa got some good state and national numbers, so I didn't put those in. But for around here, these are roughly some numbers. These numbers are about 30% under. So the top of those are around 200 cars a month. It's really talking about 300, more like 300 cars a month. So
What are you looking at?
this is by month. How many EVs are being sold in the Sacramento region?
Oh.
All right, and this is how I define the Sacramento region. So every month,
Why is it underreported?
it's just the way that we don't know exactly why. This is the numbers. These are the numbers that of people that sign up for the rebate, and about a third of the people don't.
Is that counting dealerships releases?
Yes.
Most of the people who don't
Yeah,
qualify
so
for the
the-
rebate, it's because it's a 24-month lease instead of a 36-month.
Exactly.
That might be some of it.
Necessarily be seen them all.
But more importantly, again, why did you pull Calaveras out?
It wasn't touching Sacramento, I guess. Yeah, and it didn't make a difference. Neither did some of the others.
Don't take it personally.
All right, so, but we looked at a pretty good run up, almost doubling each year over year. But you can see here it's flattening out. All right, and there might be very different reasons. One of them is, immediately people would guess lower gas prices are doing. December had a good run. Do you have any comments on this, Heath? Pardon me?
Well, leveling off, no, there's, but that's largely a perception item. I have to say, I have to speak for my locations. We're selling them as soon as they come in.
So,
I've been sold out, like bulbs, for example, sold out at the end of the year. Of course, this is not happening in the Bay Area, but in this very second area. So.
And I have
Conclusion, it's a supply issue, not a demand issue.
I have talked to some of the other dealers and say their supplies are low. And if you only got one said he only had one on the lot. you can't sell much of them.
Yeah, first time, but I know I'm a state employee, and I know that when the city decided not to, they're thinking about cutting back and not.
Oh, the parking?
The parking, that has something to do with it, because I know a lot of people, like including myself, were rushing, to go buy electric vehicle. That is so we figure the parking lot that was $185 a month that we wouldn't have to pay. Now we have to pay $92.50.
Yeah, they
so
met the requirement now.
Right.
So 50%. So they're
I mean, I think it might be worthwhile to lobby to bump that up.
lots downtown though, but
They'll go quick.
That all those is going to go away because we are flooding into
that's
the
why I didn't take a
lot,
position
so
down at State Board.
Yeah, David.
I've been reading about this. Plug-in hybrids have been dropping, but battery electric vehicles have continued their rate of increase.
So the battery electrics are the green.
Yeah, they're still going
There, and they're still doing good.
Gasoline prices.
But you see, so the last few, at least in this area, the last few are still kind of flat a little bit.
September is when they announced that thing, and I know a lot of people were not happy. So
Yeah.
why would you go out and buy it? Because now,
Well, now there's got to be more reasons than just cheap parking too.
And
So
that's what David was saying. There's a difference in reasoning between the different buyers. And the battery electric buyers are typically doing it for their environmental reasons and not necessarily to save fuel. So
or parking, free parking reasons.
so the decrease in gas prices hasn't affected BEV sales as much as plug-in.
And I would also say this mirrors the national numbers, so it's not, I mean, this local effect may have effect locally, but these are similar to national numbers.
So it's not just
So it's not
just a
Sacramento,
garage.
It's just flattening out. I mean, it's still going up, but it's kind of like a low. And I think the second generation vehicles are really going to help kind of spur that. market.
Definitely.
The 200-mile market's going to take off.
It really is, I think. Okay, we got to keep going. If you're just curious about the breakdown of the EVs in our region, this is what's selling, what's not. You can see the Leafs are dominating. The Chevys there, the two different types of Chevys. There, Heath. Well, the Toyota, most of the Toyotas are the plug-in Prius. The smaller slice is the RAV4. And Ford has got 3 different models. There, it's hard to tell. I mean, actually, the blue slice is the 2 hybrids, plug-in hybrids are combined together. I couldn't differentiate between the C-Max and the Fusion. Pardon me?
There's only 13 RAV4s left, and they're all in Northern California.
And a couple of them sold in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, the last one, and they don't have the incentive anymore either. So
why do it? Why, if I were them,
they don't. There's no. They don't care right now. They figure they've already met their requirement.
So this is what they.
Dealer incentive, right?
Yeah, they got rid of the 17.5. Yeah, no, you guys still have the.
Yeah.
So this is the again.
17,500 is a big incentive.
This is the mix for just our region. If you looked actually in Southern California, the Prius is really, because they're looking for, really dominate, because they're looking for that sticker. And I think the Bay Area is pretty heavy on Leafs. Lisa, is that right?
Oh, I think so, but I don't know.
Okay, I've been told the Bay Area is also very heavy on Leafs. But you get down to San Diego, Los Angeles, very heavy on the Priuses. Okay, so hey, our membership, how are we doing? Looks pretty good. We're growing pretty good. We're at 450, 500, somewhere in that line. But you know what? As the volume of the electric cars has been growing up, our line has not been going as fast. We should be accelerating faster. So what I'd like to do is I've got a bunch of these SacEV cards, and I'll give everybody a bunch of them. If you see a car out parked along the street, an electric car, just put one of those SacEV cards in the windshield. All right, and we're going to the dealers as well. Pardon me?
We'll have to go to the convention center for meetings.
We haven't started paying for this space yet, so we can't make it any bigger. Wait, have we?
Half of the space.
So now looking forward, from what I've been reading, there's about 14 new EVs coming on the market this year. They're mostly plug-in hybrids. The used market, now that the leases are turning over, is starting to build up. So we have to be thinking about people when giving advice and guidance, that what's their range differences on the used electric car. I'm going to think of how do we accommodate those a little bit. We're going to be doing more attention over the year, along us and others, to the workplace and multi-unit dwellings, you know, apartments, condos, that kind of thing. Fast charging is going to pick up. SMUD will be talking a little bit more about fast charging here, and NRG started to put some in our area. They already have put one up the 80 corridor by Sierra College. And the growth so when we're continuing to grow, and we're going to try to step up in our game and be a little bit more professional, more rigorous. You know, we'll have, hopefully you'll see a better image, better impression that we give. We did about 28 or so, I think, events last year, somewhere in that neighborhood. 3 in December. So, and we're getting more help. People are stepping up to help with the leadership of it, and we'll be talking about that in a moment. Now, with the continued low gas prices that we're talking about, we have to make sure that, as we're talking to people and engage them, it's not strictly about the gas savings. It's they're fun to do. EV drivers like their cars. They're happier with their cars than the average gas car owner.
Lower maintenance.
So we've got, think about the.
Faster, better.
I don't like going to gas.
Exactly.
We've got,
I don't even know how to get gas.
yeah.
It's a place where you, when you don't want to, you have to stand out in the rain.
Yeah.
I hate that.
So you've got this, you know, remember what these key points are for the fun part of it. It's not just the money side. You know, it's got that pep, it's got the quiet, battery positions low, so at center of gravity, you hug the road, you can turn faster than my wife would like me to turn. Smooth acceleration, no hesitations, surges, you know, with a gas car. If you've been driving an electric car for a while and you go back and drive a gas one,
They're noisy.
They're noisy. They're sluggish. They're inconsistent. They're crude. So, and there's some studies actually that there's lower stress in electric cars, believe it or not. Because if you stop somewhere, even if you stop somewhere in traffic, well, even if you stop somewhere in traffic, you don't feel like you're wasting all that gas belching out. You know, just sitting there. And of course, there's a health side angle of it. Gas cars have got a lot of negatives associated with them. Immune system, cancer-related. This is one that surprised me. If you're sitting behind a gas car, like in a parking garage, and you're breathing in exhaust from that car, in your body, it's actually exhaust is apparently converting your HDL cholesterol to LDL. That came out, that just completely shocked me. Yeah.
So, related to this, I also read recently online under the American Lung Association website or something, Sacramento is #5 for worst ground level ozone in the nation. So it's like LA, another California city, something else, and then Sacramento. So, I mean, I would love to see every car in the area turn into an EV because that would certainly help that situation.
Yeah. Thank you. What I found too is that if you talk to people about the economics and the fun, that those are the real big motivators. The health sometimes, that's something they feel good about doing. That the health and the environment, things that once they're kind of thinking about doing it, it kind of pushes them over the fence. Not only I'm doing something that I like to want to do, but hey, I'm helping the world out by doing it. So these often aren't the primary with a lot of people, but. It helps lock in, you know, when they're ready to do it, it just locks them into it. Okay, so talking about leadership, Yeshua, I think most of you met Yeshua from prior meetings. He stepped up and he's doing a lot of the event management, doing a lot of work there. So you'll probably get the calls from him and emails from him. Please help him out. He can't put on the events by himself. He can't prepare for them all by himself. You guys have got great cars and great experience, and that's what people want to hear. So. When he calls, please take the call and do what you can. But if it doesn't work out, there's many other events coming down the road. So don't feel that if you miss one event, you know, you feel failed in some way. Laura is our secretary. She's recording minutes from our board meetings. Pardon me?
There is no R in that.
Oh. Did I miss that, Laura?
You got it.
So, Laura, you're the other geologist in this group.
Yes, I am.
She also, I wanted people to look.
He's modeling it.
SacEV. She does these, and she has the blue ones. Like, you want to show that? Green one. Green one, a teal. Not teal. It's sort of a lime.
Yeah.
We got some right in the other room. So if you don't have one, talk to her about them. They're extraordinarily inexpensive.
And you can order. You bring your shirt, she'll put it on the shirt.
That's right. You have a shirt, you want the SacEV logo on it because you like that shirt.
You don't wear green well. Like a lot of it.
So
Thank you.
There's a small donation that SacEV takes.
and it's very inexpensive. It really is. So thank you, Laura. This is someone I'm pretty familiar with. Thomas, I think is new to a lot of the group. Can you sort of stand up and let everybody see you?
No, but he doesn't know you.
Thomas is a marvelous guy. He has graduated with degrees in international economics and business services.
No.
What?
Finance.
Finance service.
What's your last name, guy?
And he spent a year in China. He, he's helped with a lot of companies and several other nonprofits. So he's now our treasurer. And we have I have some forms. So if you have a receipt, they need to be reimbursed. He's the guy that will manage that through the process and be much more reliable than I. And we've got the forms here. I'll make sure you have them there, Tom. I'll give them to you there, Thomas. But he'll also look at whether we go to, how we want to manage, our financial affairs. So, and Jorge.
Before you go on, why do we have to worry about financial affairs? We don't have any money, do we?
Oh, we do.
Yes, we do now.
We have, Nissan came through with a marvelous grant. To help them. So again, thank you, Nissan.
That's Genie's doing.
Well, but you guys are supporting and advocating. But it's Nissan, and we think Nissan's doing great. We appreciate that. We also did a joint project with SARTA to do some videos that we'll talk about a little bit up here, and some interviews. And there was some revenue came in from the CETA, which is the what is it?
Employment Training Agency.
All right, so they did some bit of funding. So we've got some cash in the bank. We want to make sure that we spend them the most rational and appropriate manner to get us to be able to do a better job at educating and promoting the public about EVs. Okay, thank you, David. Jorge's not here. He's going to try to be. He'll probably be late, but he is our video manager. Be a video and photo manager. At all our events, we're doing a surprisingly weak job of collecting pictures of what we did. And so we go to the next event or to a sponsor and say, look at all the things we do. We don't have any good pictures of that. And a lot of people take pictures, but they don't know where to send them. Or they get sent in the mail and they get lost. And so Jorge's stepping up to be able to consolidate them and pick out the best and such. So I really, yeah, I mean, because we want a broad variety of them over time, but we also want to be able to quickly find the best. So he's going to work on that. So I want to these four, I'd like to say thank you and have at least give applause for these guys. Okay, Laura, sprouting leaves.
Part of our grant with Nissan is we have to deliver so many test drives, and that's part of our commitment to them is to get out there in the market and get basically butts in the seat. And so what we've done is we're starting a contest called Sprouting Leaves, and I've got flyers here. It's pretty straightforward. What we're looking for is every other month at our general meeting is for our leaf drivers to basically keep kind of a little journal or a log of your test drives. We just need to know who, when, and an email, and I will caveat that we are not going to contact them unless there's some absolute insane reason why. I don't think Nissan's really going to ask for that. But just, we want to get basically butts in the seat. That's what sells these cars. Going back to Guy's slide earlier, EV drivers love their cars. I don't think there's anyone here that doesn't love their cars. And that's going to sell them. And so we'd like to do it. And so what we're going to do, at least initially, we're going to do a $50 gift card every meeting. The most test drives wins. It's pretty straightforward. If there's a tie, I don't know, we'll figure out some way of breaking a tie. But we want to see, yeah, flip a coin, I don't know what. Or if you do a lot, maybe we'll give you 2 gift cards. Hard to say. But we want to, this is really, we want to make this commitment and really get out there and do this. You guys are awesome. You're always out there giving rides in your car. We just want you to keep track of it.
It doesn't have to be your leaf. It could be,
no, we don't care.
Someone else's in the family's leaf. You know, if you're getting people there to do test drives, that's what we want, butts and seats.
But you need to communicate that test drive via email to...
Well, just at our general meeting, bring your log, or you can email me, and that's a good point. I will make a point of getting my email out. But, you know, just keep track of it. Log it, journal, whatever, you know, January 15th, 2 drivers, and here's their names and email addresses. Just so it's kind of a fun contest, and hopefully we can make our commitment, which is quite a few rides.
Yeah. And we'll follow this out with an email to everybody that'll have the, you know, where you send the, if you're not checking the meeting, where you send the journal.
Yeah, some of us used to keep meticulous logs of every gas fill up. Since we don't have to do that anymore.
Excellent point.
You know, a little roll of, you know, one of those little spiral binder
there you go.
Notebook cards, and anybody that, those of you with leaf cars, you know, what we need to do is keep a record of who you take out for a drive and drive that car.
Yeah, we don't care if the winner is 5 or 50. Yeah, just keep track.
Just something to think about. You might want to post who the leader is along the way so that it drives the competition, so people kind
Great
of know
point.
what they're going for, and it can kind of keep things
Yeah.
going.
Excellent point.
Monthly meetings, so that's a great point.
Yeah, good point.
That's good. The 2 months is a long time.
Yeah.
Other things.
Good point.
But this is kind of fun, like I said, and we hope you all participate. I've got some flyers. I'll leave them up here just to remind you, but I will get my email address out to everyone, though I think it might be on the side.
Suzette is not here from SMUD because she's sick. She has the cold that a lot of other people have been putting up with since Christmas time, and some people are just getting it now or having a longer time, some other people. But anyway, SMUD does not have us at their location today because they're rebuilding. And because of rebuilding, the Youth Energy Summit, which is on its 7th year now, cannot be at SMUD headquarters, so it's going to be at the Roseville Utility Exploration Center, which is amazing. They're actually getting together in Roseville. Except Roseville does have a couple things missing still.
Yes, they do, don't they?
Yes, and are they going to be there before? No, they're not. Are they going to be there before the celebration of the Earth, though?
Celebrate.
We're working toward our budget, probably not this fiscal year, but we're working on trying to get a couple of electric vehicles in our fleet, and especially for the Exploration Center staff. So with that, we would need charging stations there. I'm hoping someday.
We hope so, too.
Figure it out.
Anyway, the Youth Energy Summit last year had over 130 high school students involved. And this year they have cut it back to 53. But we've had to show vehicles. Well, we offered to show vehicles in the past. On the Friday and on the Saturday, we had a table and had our brochures out, answered questions to the students. And I was a real mean and evil person on that, because if they didn't ask me a question, I would not stamp their little passport card. And if their passport card was filled out, then they were able to win something from SMUD. We only have one day this time we have to do it. That'll be January 24th, I think is a Saturday. And we have to be there, good, okay. We have to be there at 9 a.m. instead of 10 like it was on the website before. But it'll be about 9 to 12. That's it. We'll be at a table. We would like about 5 or 6 cars. That's about all we can have up at Roseville. We can't cover the whole parking lot like we did for Earth Day events in the past. But it'd be really nice to have P85D, also nice to have a Kia Soul EV, Mercedes B-Class, BMW i3, and what's the other one I was supposed to ask about?
I8.
Oh yes, it'd be nice to have an i8, yes. But if we can't even get those, it doesn't matter. As long as we can get anything that'd be an electric vehicle that the students can see or plug-in electrics, that'd be fine. But I can only take about 5. There is a news notice that's going out tomorrow asking for people to contact me to let me know.
All right, hello everyone. My name's Spencer. This is Austin, and Mikey is sitting over there. And we actually are Sac State engineering students. And actually in February, a month from yesterday, we are hosting a Student Leadership Summit for over 100 students from all over California, Utah, Washington, and Oregon, 4 states, all coming to Sacramento for a 3-day conference, and all through the club Institute of Transportation Engineers. So we'll have a bunch of big speakers, a bunch of cool events, and actually on our first day, our first event will be a vehicle show. We actually already have a 1914 Model T committed. We're trying to get vehicles that were innovative for their time. That's why we're here. So I kind of put a Tesla next to a Model T because I think that would be really awesome to see, you know, a 100-year-old vehicle next to a brand new vehicle. So if anybody's interested, we'll be here after. We're looking for at least a couple. We can accommodate as many as we can get. So if you're interested, it's on Friday, February 13th. It's a 1 to 5 window, but if you can't stay the whole time, that's not a big deal. So yeah, if you're interested, find us after. Thank you.
And we'll send something. Did you already send something by email on this?
I can, yes.
Yeah, we'll send something by email on it just so that you'll have that available. All right.
Thank you.
And a couple other events coming up. We're not going to spend much time, but April comes around, it gets really crazy out there. So we'll really like to think about keeping your time available in April as much as you possibly can. We got a couple events in May with SMUD, and then we're ready for the main part of the program. Lisa.
Well, hello everyone. Like Guy says, my name's Lisa Chiladakis. I'm with the California Plug-in Electric Vehicle Collaborative. I'm happy to be here today. So a little bit about the collaborative. Our goal is to accelerate the adoption of plug-in electric vehicles in California to meet our economic, energy, security, and environmental goals. So basically, we're a member-driven organization with the big automakers, state government, local government, education research. We have UC Davis, UCLA, Plug in America, all the big utilities, and some electric vehicle supply equipment groups like ChargePoint, Green Lots. We have some new members this year with Cal ISO and Caltrans, Advanced Energy Economy. So we're growing to about 45 members now. So they pay a dues, and we have an executive director. Her name's Christine Kehoe. She works in San Diego. She was an ex-senator here in California. And then we have 3 staff from the Air Resources Board on loan to the collaborative. So this is a bit about the market. So Guy talked about local markets. It really does reflect a little bit about what's going on in the country. We reached 100,000 PEVs. You probably all know that in August. And then we're at about 118 in the state right now, 118,000. So it is continuing to grow. And then nationally, we're over 250,000, about 286. So this is just a bit about the national sales and the California sales. So I was here today to talk about what the collaborative is doing right now. And so our big focus is workplace charging and charging at multi-unit dwellings. So we have some resources that we worked one with CalSTART, best practices. We have a guidebook called Amping Up California Businesses, and it has 20 case studies of small, medium, and large workplaces and how they're handling workplace charging. And then we also have a guidelines document for charging at multi-unit dwellings. So if you know somebody who's a property manager, or you know someone who lives in an apartment, or you live in an apartment, these are tools to help facilitate charging at multi-unit dwellings. Some things we're looking for 2015. Over the last year, have been trying to get the word out about the documents and the resources, trying to reach apartment associations, building managers, trying to get out to new audiences to increase the public charging at multi-unit dwellings and workplaces. So we did webinars. We are trying to get the word out, I said, to key stakeholders. And then we're going to be doing some new guidelines and tools for looking at charging etiquette, management at workplaces, how to charge employees fees. So a lot of issues that workplaces who already have charging are going to be looking at for kind of the next phase of charging. Then we're also collecting more case studies for multi-unit dwellings. Right now we have about 5 or 6 case studies of how properties have installed charging, so we're looking for more case studies. So if anyone here knows or lives in apartments with charging, we'd love to hear about how they approached it or get a contact for that property, and so we can do a case study on how they installed charging at their property. We're also in 2015 going to be doing our, we're going to be funding some ride and drives, which kind of goes along with what we were talking about today, getting more people in the cars. So we're going to be focusing on untapped locations, maybe looking at the Central Valley, Sacramento. We're going to be different areas of the state to do more test drives. So we might be funding grants, or we might be doing something with partnerships, so that's something coming down the road that maybe we can work together on.
Yeah, that's something we can apply for, work with.
We're still developing kind of how we're going to implement it, but I will definitely keep in touch if it's something, an opportunity that could help this group, because we're looking to partner with people already doing test drives, so we'll see how that works out, but that could be an opportunity in the future. Another program coming up next year, or this year, is what's called Drive the Dream. And we did a big event in 2013 in San Francisco called their first Drive the Dream. And it really is to focus on corporate commitments to workplace charging, getting charging in fleets, and to employee incentives. So we're looking to do this next one in Southern California, hopefully this summer. We have the governor there, so that's a key component, is trying to get the governor to commit to a certain date, to join us with these large companies. We had Coca-Cola, Walgreens, Google. We had large companies making these commitments. And this year we really want to get a Sacramento company involved in Drive the Dream. So we'll definitely be trying to find out what corporations, what companies in this area are doing big commitments in this area that we can include in this Drive the Dream.
Kaiser might be one, but what do you find, what's the best, most compelling reason for companies to put in EV charging infrastructure? What works? It's a hard sell, it seems to me.
It is. I think sometimes there's a lot of demand from the employees. Sometimes they just are a company that wants a green image. They want to do the right thing. They want to be, Coca-Cola is a company that does so much sustainability practices in their production and everything around. So they wanted to echo that out for their transportation for their employees. So there are a lot of different reasons. I mean, Google, I think want to look like a green company. And this is the big, and also they want their employees to get to work quickly and happily with the carpool stickers. So a lot of them, really incentivize the cars, the PEVs, so that they can get the carpool stickers and have charging and just be, retain their best employees. A lot of those reasons. So that's what we're seeing. So things that, I'm here that you can help. Like I said, if you know of a multi-unit dwelling, an apartment, a condo that has electric vehicle charging, we'd love to hear about them and get contacts so we can do case studies. We also, if you're doing events, if you think that it's a good audience to learn about workplace charging or charging at multi-unit dwellings, we have materials that we can give you to hand out. We have tip cards and things to lead people to our materials at our website. And also, like I said, the corporate commitments to the PEVs through the Drive the Dream. So any connections that we have that can help bring companies to the Drive the Dream event, that's what we'd love to learn more about that. So this is our website. We have the PEV Collaborative website, which is got all a lot of the materials and what the collaborative is doing. And then the Drive Clean /PEV Resource Center is more of a consumer-focused website that has information about all the cars on the road, how to install charging, what chargers are available. So it's a resource for people looking to buy a plug-in electric vehicle. And so if you have any questions or follow-up, here's my contact information.
By the way, all these slides will be posted on the, assuming it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Will be posted on the SacEV website.
Yep.
So you'll be able to go, and probably tomorrow be able to go and find it.
Great. Eugene?
Could we get a model ordinance for cities, for EVs written up or something, because they're having problems?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We had a model ordinance in some of our early PEV readiness stuff, so I could see what's in there and send it to you, and then we can look at the collaborative, maybe through some of the coordinating councils or things, how we can do some more of that. Sure.
And didn't the governor sign a law at the end of the year that you could no longer deny a MUD owner could no longer deny?
Right. There's some legislation about the rights of in multi-unit dwellings to request chargers, and the property owner can't outright deny it. But then there's some cost. The property owner, the tenant needs to pay for a certain amount of the charger, and so a lot of times with the MUDs, they have going through the homeowners association approval, who pays for all the installation. A lot of these are the issues, but somebody can't outright deny them from at least kind of moving forward or pursuing a charger in an MUD. I think the new one was for condos, whereas the old bill was just for apartments, and so and I think we're trying to get more new construction. I think there's more laws now that new construction have be PEV ready, so that's a big step. And then we're looking at hopefully laws that require PEV charging in even existing properties, but we're a ways away from that. So, any other questions? Okay, thanks everyone. I know you have a full agenda.
All right, so we'll keep it quick. You guys got a long agenda. It's been a good year for PEVs. It's been a good year for SMUD. We met with the execs. We had some activities. Budget hasn't been signed yet, so I won't tell you about those activities just yet. We got a couple things going. DC fast charging. Who's charging? DC, helping you out. So you've probably been to the SMUD site. Okay. We also have a couple new sites that are coming up. Well, this is the operational. We have some that are under construction up in Citrus Heights, just off-site of Antelope Road at O'Reilly's. We're looking at April to open up that DC fast charging. The other one we're looking at is Amtrak. We're hoping for July. And this is a Sac Food Co-op, which has gotten a lot of interesting press there. And they've been reaching out to us as well as the community. So that's a site that looks like it's going to go forward. And then out here also the Pocket. Wanted something kind of in between the I-5 and the 99 corridor here. So a couple planned sites. We're looking at about 6 total. That's under our current federally funded budget. And we'll see what happens from there from the private sector and what partnerships might be had as well.
Is the airport basically out of contention now?
It is not in the current running, correct, due to contract negotiation issues and property management and who's going to cover specific costs that are outside of our grant funding.
And you got rid of the Rancho one also, right?
Off of our 6th plan, yes, it's been reverted to we're really going with a Sac Food Co-op. Because what happens is we did the studies with SACOG. We've all looked at what's the best planning, how do you build out for level 2 or level 1, and what it comes down to is who are the property owners and who's going to sign on the dotted line to allow that construction to happen, whether they're paying for it or not. So as much as we'd like to build out a perfect corridor or what we think would support EV traffic, or how can we do specific tests to see how those corridors change if DC fast charging was made available, what it comes down to is property owners and who's going to sign on the dotted line.
So a quick question, are those SACOG grant-funded ones, or are those original SMUD and federal grant-funded ones?
So it's federal grant, AB 32 money.
So the SACOG ones are not on here?
So there's the SACOG funds. We're kind of out of our SACOG funding phase, and we're moving in. So what you'll see is the first 2 that are here that are actually under construction is under SACOG, and then the other ones are under AB 32. So we're in between our funding phases.
So I just have a question. Why are there like 3, fast charge stations seem to be so close to each other.
What's the question?
I'm just.
Why are there 3 DC fast charging? So one is if we look at parking, and if we look at occupations, if we look at where PEVs and the dwell time of parking, one, there is a large saturation in the downtown corridor. What I also just talked about is property ownership and who's willing to make the contracts and willing to actually make things happen in a reasonable amount of time within our funding window. So that is what's been made available. And then what is being influenced by the city, SACOG studies, UC Davis Institute studies.
So the city Rancho Cordova didn't offer anything up. They got one.
Well, they originally had one off Zinfandel, but it disappeared.
There's a lot more to the installation of DC fast chargers than what the normal installation is. So I think what Daniel's trying to say is there's a lot more to the process, or there's a lot more to the ownership of the land, and who wants to go into contract of installing these. So it's been very difficult to find locations.
Right. And our funding allows us,
right?
It's the 483 phase.
Yes.
Daniel, I did hear one that someone was still interested in up the 50 corridor a bit, but not with it has to go beyond these initial ones. Is that?
Right now for SMUD, being a community-owned utility and the finances coming directly to ratepayers, it's very strategic on how we use our finances from AB 32 as well as our previous funding and how we allocate those funds. So we don't want to go outside of that comfort zone until we know it'll be best for the community and for SMUD ratepayers.
Okay.
Has anyone actually sat down with the Board of Supervisors about the airport as opposed to airport bureaucrats?
I'm not closely related to that project and haven't been for a couple of years, but it's...
That's all that. It's the ARCO corporate.
But let's just put it somewhere else, put it in one of the lots up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost the private owner of the state.
No, I understand that, but then they were looking at the cell phone lot, and which is pure county land, and the Board of Supervisors ultimately owns that.
Right.
And I understand there's been a lot of bureaucrats, pointing fingers, but the Board of Supervisors...
Are we used to that?
Well, that's why I'm asking, as the board, it's an embarrassment to this region that you can't drive, most people can't drive a Leaf to the airport to pick someone up because the charging just isn't there.
Right.
I mean, it's really an embarrassment for a region that is priding itself on being so far progressive on EV adoption, and do the Board of Supervisors know that?
Can you help us lead that charge if we
Sure, I'd be happy to.
All right, Laura, can you make note down that we want to start an initiative to do that, and that is willing to help lead that?
And SMUD's just one arm. We're just one appendage of many partnerships that would be required in order to make specific facilities operational.
Maybe we should go to a board meeting as a group.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But someone's got to lead.
Happy to.
All right, next. Yeah, keep going.
All right, so multifamily and workplace, we also have another grant that we're working on. What are some different solution sets we can find for multifamily? We need to do some studies to decide what is the actual operation from a utility perspective. Multi-unit dwellings are very, very difficult. Hopped Electric helped us do the first one many, many years ago and went through the trenches to find out what was something passable. But there's so many hurdles, as most of you probably know, with multi-unit dwellings, whether it's property owner, property management, to the actual person that would be buying the vehicle, and then is there actual dwelling close to their parking spot? How do we actually bill on a parking spot off of a commercial transformer of a commercial customer and then transfer it to a residential customer? So the transfer is very difficult. If a multi-unit dwelling wanted to actually offer it up and pay for it and then offer it to maybe a monthly service or a flat fee per month, we're trying to test those waters, and through this grant we're actually offering $1,500 per EVSE with up to 6 EVSEs per site. So we're actively pursuing that currently and and plan to have some good test results mid-year, and then we'll be developing a commercial program that will be working with multi-unit dwellings, as well as workplace, as well as what other public DC fast charging companies might be coming to town, and how we can facilitate and support the progression of plug-in electric vehicles in our community. So the budget will be 24 workplace and 24 multifamily sites. Eligibility be based on submetering as well as new services, so it's fairly open. And we really wanted to get the case studies there and look at the energy consumption data and how can we create a rate that is going to support the community, supporting plug-in electric vehicles, but also be a paying bill that'll work whether it's a commercial customer or whether it's a residential customer. So we have detailed pilot program overviews. I brought a couple copies today, and Guy also might have some as well. Deepak is actually our program manager on that, and he is on top of things, and he has a background in technology and electric vehicle technology, so he is a great asset there.
Amber Harris, and I'm with SARTA, Sacramento Area Regional Technology Alliance, and SacEV and SARTA recently did a collaborative beginning to what we hope is the first round of videos, and we're hoping we get to do another crack at it, depending on how things go. But so these are 2 videos that are on your website, the Neighbor to Neighbor, which is designed to help promote EVs to folks who are interested in purchasing them and want to hear from you all about your experiences. And I wanted to give a big, huge thank you to the SacEV team, because you guys were just great to work with. I mean, you showed up, you let me interview you. Super nice, friendly, happy group. Were spectacular at the ride and drives that I attended, and you guys showed up in force. It was really impressive. So thank you to all of you for making this easy. Easier.
I think we can actually see.
Oh, I can hit this thing?
No, I have to do it from here.
Oh, good job.
Is there a...
I don't think we passed her. Just hit OK.
Just hit OK?
It's really funny seeing yourself on video if you've never done that. It's pretty.
SMUD's Electric Avenue, speaking with electric vehicle owners and interested parties. Let's see what they have to say. So you're an electric vehicle owner yourself. Can you speak to us about the satisfaction of your experience as an owner? How has that been for you?
Oh, I've been extremely satisfied. I bought my car in December of 2012, and it's been maintenance.
That's why we put him first. He seems really trustworthy.
And the next one is not due until August 2016. So.
Wow.
It's been wonderful. I still have to drive the gas car once a week so the battery doesn't die, and I hate doing that anymore. Just the driving experience has been so much better than the gas cars I've driven.
So far, it's been a great experience. I mean, we've owned one since we came to the auto show. He sat in one, my husband sat in.
Not that, no, you want to do the other ones too. We've got other.
Yeah, so you guys did a great job. People that I showed this to who were non-EV owners were really impressed with your responses. They felt like they were comprehensive and spoke to their questions, and they just really loved it. So thank you so much.
Good editing.
Am I speaking about this too?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So one of the other video trainings that we put together was designed for electric vehicle dealers who are new to the EV experience. And so a huge thank you to Heath Carney, his team, for letting us interview him and for helping us kind of break into the field and get some ideas. So thank you for that. Lots of SacEV folks worked really hard on this with lots of SARTA folks, and I think between us we logged over 100 hours putting it together. So, so these are some of the important numbers. Basically, UC Davis did a transportation study last year that said basically plug-in electric vehicle owners rated the dealerships a lot lower than traditional dealerships, and they didn't feel like people were knowledgeable about it. Obviously, they didn't go see Heath because they would have felt wonderful. So basically, they also found out that Tesla ranked really highly. So this was a significant problem that was pervasive. So
we wanted to address this problem and work together to help improve dealers' knowledge, especially for folks who are new to EVs. All right, thank you. So this is Mr. Carney and myself having a little interview. But basically SETA, which is the Sacramento Employment Training Agency, received a grant, and this was part of the grant, was to work on electric vehicle knowledge and increasing awareness and ownership, ultimately.
You can play this beginning of each of these too, right?
Sure. We're hoping to get a better copy of this with the music removed, because the music kind of is loud in this, so you'll have to listen closely for Heath.
Great, Keith, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I'm excited to learn more about some of your tips for creating a successful test drive for electric vehicles.
Great, Amber. And again, it's great talking to you also. The test drive is one of the most important things that you can do to demonstrate the great features of electric vehicles. It's really critical to do a test drive. And first, what's I think really important in a test drive is to start yourself. Demonstrate the features and the key benefits of electric vehicles yourself. The reason I want to emphasize this is that many people do skip this step. That's one of the most important steps, okay? Now, secondly, it's really important.
So you can watch these videos in their totality on the SacEV website or on the SARTA site. We both have them up. Ours is under resources. I think yours is under the splash page.
The other one here for you.
Oh, this is our more informational. I had to practice so many times so I wasn't saying but during the reading. I did it in one cold half hour. So.
Today we'll be presenting about electric vehicles, their benefits to your customers, and some of the details around electric vehicle savings and incentives. Here's a brief agenda for the items that we'll discuss today, including why dealers should promote electric vehicles, the customer experience, why owners of electric vehicles love their cars, some types of plug-in vehicles, customer benefits, an electric vehicle market overview, electricity measurements.
It's deeply exciting at this point.
An EV and different charging locations. A little bit about electric vehicles.
So this is a 35-minute,
right.
37-minute.
It's a training, yep. And so you want to buckle in, but the folks who viewed it said the initial feedback that we received was that it was mostly positive, that people felt it was very informative for an introductory level. Again, we're kind of hoping to get another crack at doing some refinement, but people, Lloyd, David, SacEV team, Cody Cameron was our videographer. People worked really hard on this, so considering some of this was done with limited resources, I think everybody did a really fantastic job. So
I just want to mention that also that it's been able to be delivered to dealers in several different formats. They can go to the web and pull, just like we're doing here, pull the seminar. They can pull the PowerPoint slides and deliver it themselves, or they can ask for a SacEV member to come and deliver it to the run.
Guy, are you tracking how many dealer downloads are being done, and
That's a good question. I'm not sure how to do that, but we should.
Otherwise, the metrics are meaningful. Otherwise,
right.
That will actually be, if we get another round at it, part of it will be marketing, and also marketing directly to dealers so that they actually watch it, and we'll be kind of doing some editing, but also tracking dealership engagement. So we're hoping to get another crack at it.
If they request that a SacEV member deliver it, there'll be a fee associated with that. But we'd like to get people that would be interested in volunteering and stepping up to go stand in front of a group of salesmen and deliver this to it. So let us know if you're interested and willing to be on the group of available people for delivering this kind of training.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a great tool for folks who aren't as familiar with electric vehicles, and just a great way to get the word out. So thank you.
Is the president of the AA, our parent organization, the Electric Auto Association, and it's a national organization. I'll walk away with that. And he's here to come to tell about some of his background and what he can help with, and maybe even give a touch on a little bit on where things are going forward. So,
okay, cool.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Guy. Excuse me. So
I'm just going to run through this real quick. There's a lot of people I know here, and you've heard of a lot of me, and I am frankly stunned at your membership in your chapter, and I want to encourage everybody here who's not a member of the National, you're missing out on a great monthly magazine. We put out 40 to 48 pages every month, and that's one of our value adds. And now later on, George is going to talk about another value add, and we're getting discounts for various things, and including potentially auto insurance. Can you imagine the EAA logo up there with the little Geico gecko on top? Sorry, it's not going to be Geico, but it will be another major insurance company. It'd be a cool trick. Let's see how this works. Okay, there's my agenda. Going to go through my personal background because a lot of you people are saying, God, who is he? You know, how does he fit in here? Anyways, just going to briefly run through these major bullet points here. I born and raised upstate New York, schooled. I left New York for obvious reasons. Here's the main reason. And I was really into ham radio. At age 10, I had a license. My dad said, what's this letter to you from the Federal Communications Commission? So that's how it started. Career in electronics. And I'm now at the end of my career. I'm about to retire and dedicate more time to EVs. Anyways, it was building Heath kits. That's dating me. Okay. Vacuum tubes. Yeah, that's dating me. I learned vacuum tubes as a kid. Learned transistors in college and threw myself into industry when there was already ICs. What are they? Anyways, it's been fun. I also worked in a nuclear power plant, upstate New York. This is 9 Mile Point. And that was an interesting, enlightening, I won't say irradiating, but it was an enlightening experience. It quickly told me that I wanted to have nothing to do with substation design and power. Yuck. I wanted electronics, pure electronics. Well, guess what? Here I am at the end of my career and talking about EVSEs and anyways. Okay, here's basically where my mindset is. I always like technology. I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. Okay, no confessions needed. Simplicity. Einstein said it. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. I like that. It's like shaving with Occam's razor. This is what I really think was cool. The capability and the progression of electric vehicles in the last 47 years for the EAA. My predecessors had a firm grip on the EAA, and basically I took over about 15 years ago, and this is the most recent discovery, the wonders of a photovoltaic system. So EV plus PV is near self-sufficiency in energy, and that's my signature file. Okay, everybody knows this. EV from Toyota, they leased it from 97 until 2001 to small fleets and private companies.
So this is, by the way, not the same RAV4 that we were talking about.
This is a legacy. Yeah, it's the 2002.
Gen 1.
Exactly right. And this was the Gen 3, if you will, inductive charger. Okay, and there's one guy in the audience who's really looking forward to this. This is conductive charging with a J plug that's being put on top of the silver suitcase in the RAV4, and this is my prototype. And it's making progress. We're continuing doing doing testing and stuff. This is the kind of stuff I like doing. And that's why I'm retiring all the bureaucratic crap and going to have some fun. So that's kind of a small progress. Okay, this is the kind of nerdy stuff I like. This is underneath the frunk in a Tesla. I saw at least 5 Model S's outside. Does anybody have a P85D yet?
There's one out there.
There's a P85D.
85D?
Yeah.
Awesome. Elon lied to the public when he said there would be 3 modes of operation, normal, sport, and insane. There's only 2, because it's sport and insane, because there's nothing normal about that car. It's just amazing.
Well, there's no normal.
That there isn't. It's just super sporty. So here's, you can see what the pieces are and how they pack this in here. They, at this point, they put a barrier across right about here. We lose about 10 to 12 inches of the microwave cubby hole in the front of the Model 85, and that's where the motor is now.
18
inches. How many?
It's 16 to 18 inches deep.
Okay.
Plus it takes out another.
It takes a significant chunk out.
Inches out of the larger front.
Yep.
Too.
Yeah, I used to be able to put that TAL conductive charger or inductive charger in the front of the car, and now it doesn't fit anymore. So
yeah, I think that the space is reduced by 50%.
Yeah. So I like all this nerdy stuff, and this is even more cool stuff. This motor from here to here is 9 inches across, and it generates in excess of 361 horsepower. I forget what the number is, and all the power electronics is in here. This was designed by Tesla in the 2009-10 timeframe. They released it in 2012 with the S. And guess who else picked it up? Mitsubishi. They're using the same kind of packaging. I wonder who's got the patent on the packaging. Normally Japan does really good packaging, but Tesla did a very commendable job here. And of course this is mounted between the back wheels. Okay, believer in solar. Daryl's to blame for me getting solar way back in 2003. And in 2013, I saw my power bill just go out of sight because I had suddenly 3 EVs. So I decided to expand it. I did it myself. So this is my garage, this is my porch, and this is the main roof. And this is up here is from 2003, and this is my stuff that I did. And you can tell it, you see little jaggies there. I'm not real professional when it comes to doing stuff, but who cares? Nobody's going to look. And it works. So I like doing that kind of stuff.
Tell everybody how much it cost, because I remember hearing about that. It was almost nothing.
It was almost nothing.
Some special deal.
Yeah, the original deal that Daryl set up was through a guy named Bill Korthoff, the late Bill Korthoff. I paid less than $9,000 for the 2003 installation here. This is 18 160-watt panels, and then I added 27 250-watt panels last year. And now I'm very much in the black. PG&E paid me $90 cash, which paid for my gas bill for November and December. So I'm happy. True-up month was in December. But yeah, and installation I saved a crap load of money because I did it myself. No, I did it myself.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I hear that there's a big market for buying the what you call like damaged solar panels.
Oh, these, I bought new stuff.
I know.
I wanted a full warranty.
What did you buy? Which one?
Sanivia, 250 watts. And I bought them wholesale through a place in Minnesota by the pallet full. They gave me a cash discount. It was wonderful. I mean, and then I delivered them on Halloween.
15,400 of LGs myself.
Wow. Anyways, you know, I ordered on Halloween, and 3 days later there was 3 4 by 8 foot pallets in my garage or in my driveway. I'm going, whoa! They came so fast. I expected weeks from Minnesota.
I had 2 pallets, and my tractor had trouble. I had to take some off to get the
exactly.
tractor to lift
Yep,
it.
disassemble. I had to transport mine into the backyard. But anyways, okay, this is the kind of stuff I'm going to kind of glimpse into the future. I'm a super nerd. I spend time reading weird stuff. Okay, let's look into the future. My crystal ball is not super foggy. It's definitely less foggy than other people's. Anyways, this is a kind of comparison we've seen since the 1990s. This is alkali batteries. This is, you can't read this thing right here, but right there it says 2,500 grams, so 2.5 kilograms. And this is the same thing, weighs 95 grams, okay? So it's just over 3 ounces, equivalent energy. This is the kind of progress we're seeing, and this will continue now because of this kind of stuff. Mobile technology, handheld computers, people want more talk time, compute time, whatever. And it started with a Sony Walkman, if you remember that thing. But we're really making progress. So we're going to see these 4 items being addressed in a big way. The Tesla Gigafactory is going to show us where it's going. And it's very complicated. Battery technology is electrochemistry, one of the hardest fields of chemistry. I mean, there was chemical physics and physical chemistry, and I didn't know the difference anymore. It's a mess. Okay, so we're going to see improvements, and that's going to drive everything because the battery is the car. Okay, here's some of the stuff in power electronics. Power electronics is my second love. I mean, I'm a circuit designer, and that's what I've always done. And I did analog, I did digital, I did RF, I did everything in between. I also computers, you know. So these are things that are really going to shine along. There's some acronyms in here you may not understand. Gallium nitride is a kind of periodic chart mixture of semiconductors that are really good. And these are amazing too. Silicon carbide. But you can make transistors out of that stuff that'll operate at 600 degrees C. I'm going, whoa, that's hot. That's really hot. So kind of ideal stuff for power inverters. You can just run them without any cooling or whatever. So lots of cool stuff is happening in systems and power electronics. Autonomous driving, we're seeing the beginning of automatic traffic avoidance stuff like in the Tesla. That's coming, and I think we'll see, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we'll see truly autonomous vehicles available. but they won't be legal because policymakers are always behind, and that's one of my pet peeves in the next couple of slides. Policy is usually informed by technology. I don't know anybody at the CPUC who really has a clue about technology. They're a bunch of lawyers. Anyways, don't get me started on them. Anyways, motor technology, here's something that we need to explore, and it's being done. You go look up on the internet, there's almost nothing available on switch reluctance motors, but they have a lot of capability. Anyways, excuse me?
Advantage of the switch reluctance?
Smaller, more efficient. And that's the smaller is a neat thing. And that'll make wheel motors very much possible. Thanks for the segue. In December, Current Events magazine, we had an article by an ex-HP guy. I know there's a lot of HP guys here. He came from Lake Stevens Institute. He has created his own wheel motor, and he's right now testing by bolting on a wheel motor on the back end of a pickup truck. So it's really cool because it's serious horsepower and serious capabilities.
Isn't the big concern with wheel motors unsprung weight?
Yeah, you should read that article. You should join the EA and get that article.
No, I'm an EA.
You remember? Have you read the magazine?
No.
Because it's a really good article, and he addresses, I asked him specifically to address this. Okay. We featured an article by him in 2009, and I kept following up. I'm saying, so how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? And finally, I really got his attention when I said, gee, you interested in investors? And boy, his ears perked right up. I was just teasing him. But anyways, he does address that, and it's really interesting because if you have wheels, even steerable wheels, unsprung weight is not an issue because generally you're going straight. And a lot of these people now with their 22-inch wheels, you know, I mean, the lowriders on the east side, whatever, they're hard to turn. You have a real major piece of mass there, and that's part of the gyroscope effect. So it's not a real big issue, especially when you have so light the rest of the car. I mean, no centralized internal combustion engine. There's a trade-off, of course, as engineering is all about trade-offs. So anyways, okay, let me move on. This is getting too nerdy. Okay, packaging advances. This is something that's really interesting. Go Google Little Box. They're really trying to make silicon carbide into a notebook or laptop-sized inverter. Really tiny inverter to handle really high power levels. And that's available using these kind of silicon carbide chips and transistors. And Google's giving $1 million away to some academic institution that has put forth a good proposal, and it's really exciting stuff. Anyways, Little Box is something you can Google. Okay, the future. Technology, here's some stuff if you're into stock investing. There's a local company in San Jose called First Solar. They're using cadmium tellurium, another element. And they are achieving 20% efficiencies, way better than silicon right now. They're approaching what SunPower is doing. No, it's totally different. It's totally different. I mean, really interesting. And they keep making press releases with improvements. And they're not just little 0.5% or anything like that.
I looked at them today, and it was like 30% or something they were talking.
It's awesome. I mean,
pushing
that
towards
it's like
upwards of 40.
The only people that have done that in the past is the Boeing offshoot called Spectra Labs. They use multiple junctions and all sorts of different wavelengths of light, all through the same thing. And they're up in the 40%, but that's space hardware, and it's really expensive. They don't have it on landline or on land here, but eventually I'll replace all my solar panels with something really good, right, in my next lifetime. In any
you
case,
want to do that, you're shading your roof really well right now.
Yeah, really. Okay, vehicle to grid is something else. I've got 134 kilowatt hours of storage capacity in 3 vehicles. I would like to put that to use to help PG&E and all the other utilities with their duck curve. Are you familiar with the duck curve? When solar power comes on in the morning, lots of resources. A lot of people are now saying, well, charge your EV during the day. You have plenty of power. No. Let's use the slack power after hours. I'm still not subscribing to the move it into the day. But the big rate of change in the morning when all the solar turns on, in the evening as it turns off, is still going to make the utilities play special games in 2015, 16, 17, and it's going to get worse every year. The duck curve keeps getting deeper, and they need to have something to help that transition, because to turn up 1,300 gigawatts or something in a matter of an hour, where's that power going to come from? Because as solar shuts down, who's taking up the slack? They need peakers. So hopefully I can use my storage capacity and others, and we'll be talking about the interconnect and the aggregation and all that stuff in the future once the PUC hears from certain parties. Where is he? George is out there. George will be talking about what is planned for the company he's with right now. In any case, more nerdy stuff. This is exciting stuff. Okay, gives you a chance to break even. Texas recently started a program for free power for anybody who owns an EV at night. And a couple months later, very quietly, they turned that off. I don't know what the details were, but in West Texas, they have lots of windmills, and there's lots of excess power, and they don't know what to do with it. So they're saying, hey. So I actually read this headline. I put something in Current Events magazine, and I'm going, hey, very cool. If that could only spread nationwide, you know, then we'd have a big influx of people. Drive for free. Okay. Feed-in tariffs, some of those things. This is crazy. The APS people down in Arizona are charging people with solar $70 a month interconnect fee to use their copper. I'm going, it's never going to wear out. Well, no, we need to make some money on this. We have, you know, dividends that we pay out to our investors. That's just a bunch of crap. Anyways, there's a proposal in front of the CPUC right now. I'm going, oh, God. Let's hope it just goes away quietly. I'm not really in favor of that. Okay, my last slide. Oh, no, almost. Okay, this is from my friends at the NRDC, 1976 to 2036, almost. These are the gas per gallon gas cost fluctuations. Here's an upper bound, here's a lower bound. And we're right about here now. Whoops. Okay, run this thing. We're right about here in the middle of 2015. We're hitting around here. Today, price of oil went up $2. Hooray. But look at this. This is the noisy electricity costs. And they're pretty much constant for the last 40 years. I think I'll stay with that. That's just a little more something I can bank on. Yeah, unless they're PG&E. PG&E has, I think, since 1976, they've had about a 7 or 8% compounded annual growth. And I'm isolated from that. I have solar.
With another, what, 5% increase?
It's coming down this year, I think. And they also now have reduced the tiers to 2, I think.
You're in the fourth tier, not the
fourth tier? Yeah, I forget. Yeah, yeah.
But the new EV rate doesn't have tiers.
Yeah, that's an advantage.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay, this is the last slide. Okay, public policy. Now I'm going to get on my soapbox and bitch and moan and gripe. A lot of our chapters really don't have a clue what's going on. I've talked with a North Bay chapter president, Alan Soleil. I don't know if you guys know the name. He's basically wised up to the fact that there's an awful lot of people in Sacramento here that are bitching about EV parking. They want the ADA provisions. We want retrofit everything because we EV drivers, you know, we ADA people need to have access to these charging. My question is, how many EVs are ADA equipped and ready in the market right now? So what's the hurry, guys? And they're making a lot of noise, and even the governor's office, from what I understand, is just hoping they'll go away quietly. But if they do cast some, you know, trial legislation, we hope it fails in committee. But we don't know where that's going. But I was thinking that maybe we can get the 17 California-based chapters aware of this stuff and kind of put together maybe 4 or 5 talking points so we can have some rebuttals. But quite frankly, it's a very tenuous issue. Go ahead.
What's an ADA?
American Disabilities Act.
Oh, okay.
It's the handicappers. You know, sorry if anybody's one of them, but
you know, we already have problems with some areas around here, like American River College, when they put in their 15 chargers, and two out of the 15, I think, are ADA, and the signage is unclear.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Caltrans signage. Are you able to park there to EV charge, or do you have to be ADA to park there for EV charge, or can you park there if you're ADA? And what we found out from Caltrans so far is if there are no ADA spots available, they can use them, but if not, they can't. How do you prove that?
Tom Dowling and I talked a long time about this. I forgot what the meat of the discussion was. I do remember the guy who helped craft some of that early EV parking spot legislation in 2002 was Ken Adelman, right? And I need to go back and talk with Ken. I'm in contact with him.
Yeah, he's fixing it.
And, but signage is huge. I mean, Tom and I have talked about signage. He's my signage go-to. I mean, I have questions, I go to Tom, you know. And
he makes his own signs too.
Yeah. But he's smart about it. He cites CVC, you know, section numbers, and then it has teeth, you know, because if you'd say, you know, you can do it the wrong way, but Tom very carefully thinks it out and does it right.
And aren't they considering more of the charging spot as a charging spot and not a parking spot?
Yes.
So that's another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's not a parking spot.
Who was it? Was it Lisa or was it you? You're Mrs. Haupt, right?
Yes.
Somebody said earlier about etiquette. I think it was Lisa Chiladakis. Etiquette, big issue. Where I work, people are so rude. I mean, you know, we've resorted to, you know, putting a padlock on our little J plugs just so you can't get them out. But then somebody says, oh, and it's a leaf, you can circumvent it with a little tongue depressor or whatever, you know. I'm going, man, I mean, I don't even bother with that hassle at work. I mean, to charge, I do it all at home. You know, my electricity is for free, but the whole thing, we have 4 hours free, and after that, it's $10 an hour. It is an incentive to let people move. Because I've seen a P85 there, and he's plugged in all day, all night, and he's there the next morning.
That's because it takes that long to charge on those slow chargers.
Okay, let that P85 go to the supercharger. Exactly. Exactly. But you know, the etiquette is it's getting cutthroat, and
it is hard with all the new owners. I talk to new owners every single day for 20 and 30 minutes at a time. And
thank you for doing that. Now, the big issue to me is they feel entitled. I mean, a Volt driver, okay, you get the plug in. You also have gas, you can make it home. I got 9 miles left. I won't make it home if I don't plug in. Come on, a little consideration. You can wait till I'm done. Oh, come on. You know, it's just the whole attitude. It's real bad. Anyways, okay. Legislative work. The EAA is generally not active. This is where I put on my other hat, my Plug in America hat. We actually have a paid lobbyist in Sacramento here who, you know, will voice for the little guys what's going on, and she's quite good. She's been doing this for at least 10 years, and she keeps us informed, and we have monthly legislative calls where we keep informed on what's going on so we can kind of prepare ourselves. And sometimes we'll actually send out a blastogram to the chapters and say, hey, it's time to congregate on I Street and go talk to CARB. We did that in 2003. We did it again in 2007. And sometimes to good effect, other times not so much. I mean, they watered down the ZEV mandate, and that whole thing is a fiasco as far as I'm concerned. Okay, rebates. The Cal ETC is one of the organizations that Lisa talked about. They're supporting the rebate program. Apparently there's lots of money. It keeps coming from the vehicle registration fees, so there's an infinite source for that. It doesn't come out of a general fund or whatever. So the rebates, once they you know, make the necessary rulings, will be replenished, and all the plug-in drivers are, you know, the hybrid drivers are saying, well, what about my carpool stickers? I didn't realize how sensitive that area is. Apparently they're up at 85,000 right now. So anyways, there's a lot of people that are looking at the rebates very carefully, and Nissan will probably be the first company to hit the 250,000 cap per vehicle model. They will no longer get a federal rebate. And that's not too far away because they've sold over 106,000 or something nationwide, I think.
That's per model?
I believe that's right.
So they come out with per
manufacturer.
Is it manufacturer? Okay. If they had another vehicle, well, it'd go even faster. Anyways, other OEMs, Tesla will probably be there pretty soon. They're producing 1,000 a week now. For 2015, that's the rate they claim. And then there's the mindset on rebates. Oregon says, vehicle sales are doing fine, and we don't need rebates. I'm going, really? And that's not what I heard. I heard from other people, for example, Rocky Mountain Institute, these guys here, that the incentives are a huge boost. Like Colorado has I think a $5,000 state incentive. And if you live in the San Joaquin Valley, you get another $3,000 if you're in California. I'm going, wow. So I got a friend who lives down in Modesto, and he's looking at a car, and he doesn't know how he can swing. I said, hey, have you considered the 7,500, the 2,500, and the 3,000? He says, what 3,000? So very interesting. So it's very significant.
It wasn't quite enough to make me move down there.
You don't want to live there.
Not that good.
Just think of your lungs, man. Stay up here, you know. Anyways, okay, so other organizations, it's interesting how Lisa talked. I'm not going to slam Lisa, but the PEV Collaborative, we in Plug in America had to literally force our way in there back in 2009. And it's a very exclusive club. And while a lot of what she was talking about sounded exactly what I've heard coming out of the steering committee of Plug in America in the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm going, who's learning from who? You know. So anyways, it's real interesting. But the bottom line is we're all in this together. We want to get seats in cars. And these test drive programs are literally a carbon copy of what we call plug in at work. And we've done that for the last year and a half. We did the Coke thing. It's not them. It was Plug in America that got that contract, et cetera, et cetera. But the more the merrier. We need more people in seats. I'm very pleased to see the ramp up in the last 3 years. We've got a huge number nationwide. Will we hit 1 million by 2016 under Obama's regime? Doubt it. But hey, the more the merrier. So tell your friends, please do test drives. You know, can only applaud that. And I'm done. Okay.
Thank you, Ron. Yay. Last major topic here is about a new pilot being put together by the California Public Utilities Commission, along with PG&E and some other utilities in the southern part of the state. And this is to help bring down the rates. If everybody's familiar, there's PG&E has a rate. Those at the SMUD, maybe it's time to get a soda. But if you're with PG&E, they have a rate that is very low cost for charging at night, 11 o'clock to 7 in the morning. And it's punitive from about 2 in the afternoon to 9 in the evening. But for electric car charging, that's marvelous. I mean, you park your car, have it charge overnight, very low cost, 10 cents a kilowatt. It's about 3 cents a mile. I mean, how do you beat that? Gasoline is way, way far away from that. The problem is right now is if you want to just put a meter for your car, you have to run a trench or drop another line from overhead wires. You have to put another meter in, another panel in. It can be a couple $1,000 to $15,000. So very few people have done this. Instead, many people have gone for the whole house is on that rate. That works for some people, but some people have families that are during the middle of the day that can't justify that punitive high rate. There are no tiers of this rate, but it's a time of use, so it's very expensive during the middle of the day. What we'd like is an inexpensive way to allow just the car to be on that rate. And that's what their pilot is to do, to try testing out some approaches to that. They'll take your charging unit as the EVSE will be a sub-meter, essentially, reporting back to PG&E how much you charged on that at what time of day, and then they'll adjust your bill. They have up to 500 households in PG&E. It's a limit for the pilot. And it requires, at least one of them require Wi-Fi access. I don't know if all the vendors require Wi-Fi. And we'll hear some more details here in a moment. And got to move on this quickly. If you're interested in it, move on it very quickly. It's got to be installed by February, and then you'll have 12 months to try this program out. And I think, yeah, you'll be able to be in the program for 12 months.
So is that the billing rate for it? Because I'm already under 9B with, I put in a separate.
And 9, that's going away, first of all.
Yeah, well.
So this is.
It still haven't gone, it's not gone yet.
I think it's going to be obsolete very quickly.
Yeah. Well, I opted for EVB, but. Because I got solar now too. So.
Okay, and do you for B? That means the whole house is on. No, just the car. You have a separate panel, separate meter. All right. How much did that cost you, by the way?
Well, I installed it myself, and it cost me about $1,200.
So what you have to do is intercept the power before it gets into the house.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very.
Before it gets to your panel.
Well.
Yeah, that's the house.
The house. So different from SMUD, where we can take it straight from the panel into a different breaker and do a separate meter. Yeah. With PG&E, you have to intercept the power before it gets to the house. So wherever that power is, whether it's the front of your house, the back of your house, now you're digging ditches, you're trenching, you're going underneath driveways.
Mine's overhead.
Well,
that's a lot cheaper.
That's a lot cheaper, yeah. But that's the challenge. That's the when people ask why why is it so expensive? That's the reason.
And for our house, when I looked at it, I had to trench, a couple hundred feet. It was going to be thousands and thousands.
But to me, it doesn't sound like this would work for me at all because I'm already got it installed.
We've already got it installed, so you'll just go to the.
Special.
All right.
Okay. Well, my name is George, and I represent one of these companies here, so eMotorWerks. Some of you might have heard of them. I think Bob here has. And then the other company, OmConnect, they wanted to be here, but when they heard that I'm going to be representing, they decided not to come. So please don't hold it against them. So what's happening here, I will focus on the companies and the product more than the pilot. I can answer any pilot-related questions after. So OmConnect is a small company that does a demand response. It's more like, they'll send you an email when a peaker plant comes online. And then the idea is that you would run around the house or tell your kids to turn off lights or whatever. So it's kind of like crowdsourcing of demand response. Kind of an interesting idea. And then eMotorWerks, that company started as a conversion place, really. And then at some point, they decided to do inexpensive EVSEs. So inexpensive as in, there's a lot of open source stuff, let's say Arduino or, what have you. So the idea was that, we could sell you a kit. And some of you might have purchased one. I think Bob has one. And I think the price they set for the kit was about $99. So you would have to add cables, but still the idea was to have a super inexpensive charging station. So let me just kind of skip over these slides. This is how one of the units looks like. This is a premium station. It has a display where you can see some stats, sort of like what you see on ChargePoint. It has a remote, so you can actually remote control it, say you pilot. This station used to ship with a 50 amp cable, although some people have, used it at a higher amperage. We don't really encourage that, but it is possible. You also see some of the key elements of the pilot, and I will explain that. So it's not just PG&E, it's also San Diego and Southern Edison. I know SMUD has some other programs. So unfortunately, this is not part of this pilot, but there could be something else in the future, hopefully. The benefits, I think Guy already talked about it. Again, I will answer pilot-specific questions later. I have some other stuff to show you. I know some people might be falling asleep. So why juice box? I have some handouts, so happy to give these out after. But the key elements are, it's very inexpensive hardware. It's shipped about 2,000 units, so it's proven with pretty much every EV out there. It's highly modifiable. So unlike any EVSE, you can get an Arduino tool. There's a very strong community around it. You can reprogram it. You can justify it. You can do whatever you want with it. We're kind of moving away a little bit from these kits or things that people modify on their own. It's still possible, but we're trying to sell it as a prepackaged unit now. And I will show you some other cool stuff. So this is, if you're PG&E, you can still join the pilot. And I have a flyer for that. It's this bright orange thing. You can also Google it, free juice box. The idea for the pilot was that the subsidies that PG&E and the other two utilities give us, since the hardware is so inexpensive, can make it free. So nobody else really has this offering. There's a couple of other data management agents involved. I'm not going to go into the details what they offer, but nobody has this sort of thing, and kind of highlights the philosophy that we have, and I will go into that.
So this is cheap charging plus free charger.
Yes, so you'll have the benefits that Guy mentioned. Unlike some of you that have already submeters or some special equipment, the idea is that if you need to run your AC during the day or you have a pool or whatever have you, this is a really good way to submeter your EV load and put the EV load on time of use. And it's fairly easy to observe it in EV. You bring it in and you have it on schedule and charges overnight. And then the rest of the residents, you can do whatever you want, right? If you have solar or whatever rate schedule you want, it kind of decouples you from the typical time of use scenarios. So cheap charging, and then on top of that, the free EVSE. So we had a pretty strong response, I have to say, from the community. So the trial is capped at about 1,500. We have almost 1,000. And we came in as a small vendor trying to kind of learn about things, so we were pretty overwhelmed by that response, I have to say. So here are some fun stuff. You can see one of the juice box units, the front lid is removed. it's based on the kit hardware. It kind of matured very nicely, evolving very quickly. And then the second box, we have to actually include a certified meter. We were hoping to just limit the pilots to this, but we are not quite there. It's a young company, very young sort of technology. So for at least for the beginning, we will be including a smart meter, but the whole package will be still free. So I'm going to show you. So this is how it looks like when it's assembled. And here you see an Android phone with a companion app, and that's a screenshot of it. So that's the direction we are moving into. So again, cheap and inexpensive hardware, as in, still on the cost of maybe $200, retail maybe $400, but very inexpensive. And the idea is that in the future, we hope to offset the cost with grid services. So if we continue partnering on Connect or with some of the utilities, we hope to continue offering free charging or free charging stations for everybody. So that is sort of the future music. But for now, we have retail sales, we have this pilot, so we're not quite there yet.
So those two boxes, one with the meter and one with the charger, those are stacked together? What we're seeing there?
Yeah, so this is like a prototype unit that we have shown to the CPUC, but when you come back to this one, it will be like a piggyback, yeah.
So they're back to back. Okay.
Yeah. So it's for you. You don't have to install anything. You just have to have an outlet or dry outlet or whatever have you. I will show you a complete install. I have a photo of that actually.
It can be outside.
It is weatherproof, so it's watertight. And this is like two photos of custom installs. They are both part of the pilot already in LA as it happens, both of them. So you can see the juice box. It comes with a little wall bracket. So you just have to kind of screw it on the wall and it slides in. You see the Wi-Fi antenna there, and then just plugs into a NEMA 1450. So that's the setup. I'm gonna back here a little bit. So this is actually the founder and his Model S that he's charging. This was done over the Christmas holidays. We're kind of working through it. It's a real startup. And then the blue light that you see here, we have found a new vendor for the Wi-Fi chip. So the idea is that in the future, all of the charging stations will include Wi-Fi, and the cost difference will be like $5. So just include it with every charging station. If you're going to use it, good for you. If not, that's okay too. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Go ahead.
You want one?
I'm sure I'm not alone in this question. I've got E7 solar.
Oh, do you want?
Can I still charge my vehicles without losing the E7 rate?
You can. So the submetered rate is separate from your residence. You can keep your main residence on whatever rate schedule you like. The problem here is that the utilities have decided not to offset your production with your EV load in that case.
So they won't aggregate the meter on the submeter.
So basically, if let's say you move 200 or 300 kilowatt hours per month onto the submeter, they will not offset your production. So you'll have to pay for that separately, which is a big downer.
So you must pay right there. So you must pay for your car charger.
Yes, and then they justified it to the CPUC by saying that we have to manually reconcile the data, and it's not going to be possible. Sorry.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
The pilot is not for everybody. I mean, we have some folks that are really eager. I'm sorry, but it kind of allows us to advance a platform to charging station, and then kind of test the waters and to see how the response will be to a fully subsidized charging station. So that was important to us. And if you're a new EV owner and this thing would work for you, happy to have you. And then for the rest of you, maybe something in the future. So.
What after the pilot's over, what happens to the station? And
oh, right. Thank you. The way we structure the program is we will make you pay for it up front. So if you want one of these subsidized stations, you will have to pay like a subsidized price, let's say $400 or something like that. That's the whole package. And then over the course of the trial, we will refund you your money. So it becomes free, and you're free to keep it afterwards. I should also say that the pilot will have 2 phases. So phase 1 is ongoing now. Phase 2, the CPUC wants the utilities to take this over. So they want them then to manage the stations, and then maybe in the future kind of support this model where they don't force you to install these expensive submeters and do the trenching or whatever. So they want really this sort of thing to happen in the future. So, thank you.
Real quick question, not to put you on the spot.
Sure.
I know I've spoken with your company recently.
Have you?
6 months maybe.
Okay.
You finally gotten your UL listings?
No.
Repeat the question.
You are listing for a charging station.
And I only asked that.
That's okay.
And it's permitting for, I get more permits in the city of Sacramento.
Yeah.
And that was really important because I want to make sure that you're successful, because I want to install, I want to help sell your product and sell it because I can.
Yes. No, I completely understand. And so to come back to that, your listing is ongoing, but it's a long process. And I think the founder, Valerie, he kind of underestimated it a little bit. The idea was, when we started with this pilot, the idea was that we'll get the process going, and then by March or February, whenever the inspections happen, we would swap the hardware out. But it's just, it's not realistic. So right now the station it's being reviewed by the UL, but it doesn't have certification. And that's one of the reasons why we include the smart meter, to be able to get the user on the proper rate. But if it's, if it fails permitting process, we hope to have the certification, let's say by, I don't know, March or April.
Okay.
Then we would swap it out.
And that's kind of what, when I had spoken with your company months back, they had said that,
Understood.
we were hoping to go through that process.
Yeah, it's a real challenge, because this company started as kind of like an enthusiast thing, and you build your kit, and kits cannot be certified, so plug it in at your risk, at your own risk, really. But now there is real revenue around the product, so we would like to do it. Certification is expensive, as you know, so that's part of the reason why it's been delayed, because every time you do a revision of the board, you would have to recertify. So the feedback we have received so far is pretty good. We don't have things like stickers on it, so they want to see things like "do not open," so that would kind of nix the whole thing of changing your firmware and things like that. So the only sort of significant feedback was it doesn't have a commercial ground fault interrupt. They didn't say it fails, but they said it would be better if you had something commercial that's been tested, so that way,
So I have a lot of customers who, the demographic is changing.
Yeah, it is changing. We see it too.
With the purchase of various different vehicles, so that's why it was important to me.
Yeah.
For you, because I have that demographic.
I was one of the people that was advocating. I started helping Valerie, maybe a few months ago, and I brought him together with some people that have worked at larger companies that have done this before as independent consultants. He chose to delay the process.
Gotcha.
Here we are. But yeah, that's a really valid question, and if you're concerned about permitting, you might want to check that up front. So, yeah, thank you.
So again, after the pilot's done, you keep the equipment.
You can keep it. Yes, it's yours to keep.
And it's unclear what the rate structure would be at that point.
Well, again, if you start participating, you have a guaranteed participation period of 12 months, and there will be a second phase. So it could last much longer.
Should roll into a second one, but it's not clear yet.
No, well, the CPUC didn't define the second phase yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions before?
I'm just getting my hand up so I get one of those.
Sure.
Thank you.
There is a second vendor that provides the same type of equipment. They weren't able to be here to make it tonight, but they did ask to be mentioned. That's NRG, it's their EVGO system. Their system is they've got the big thing is, I guess it's Underwriter Lab certified as not only a charging system for this, but also as a built-in surge protector. And so if you're worried about that, might consider them. However, their cost is $30 a month and covers the installation cost, assuming what they call a standard installation, which they expect that most of that for the first year, they'd be able to recover those costs just through the savings in electricity. So again, a different structure to their program. So you can look at each of these and figure out what best suits you. And this is their contact, and again, we'll have this information on the web. Any other questions before we leave this topic? And we're about ready to adjourn. Okay, the last thing is the volunteers I mentioned for SacEV survives and thrives with volunteers. So when you get the call on the phone, or if there's something that interests you that SAC is doing and you might want to take on a particular area, provide some leadership or some energy on there, please give any one of us on the board a call. Give me a call. We'll get you to the right area. These are areas that we can still use some help in. Let me know after after this the meeting when we start doing our more social. But you'd be interested in stepping up and getting involved in these. Again, we're successful as a volunteer organization. Makes it key that we take the volunteers and that everybody steps up and gives a hand. All right, well, that's it. Thank you.